welcome to our series. My name is Adam Gardner, CASI Level 4, evaluator, instructor, tech team member. Almost 30 years of snowboarding experience. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of my experience and share it with you guys who are maybe a little newer to the sport. Things like having the proper equipment, proper gear, but also just dressing properly so you can spend some time out on the snow. Stay tuned. There's gonna be a lot of great information coming up. Drop us a comment if there's anything you wanna see. I'm interested to hear some of the ideas and things that you guys want to hear a little bit more about. So a lot of people ask about what they should be wearing when they get out on the hill. Things like your jeans, some regular old cotton clothes. Biggest problem with them is they don't dry. Usually when your clothes get wet and you're out in the cold, you're gonna shed your body temperature quite quickly. So I like to break the layers down into three main areas. So we have our base layer, which is the one that's probably touching your skin, the mid layer, which is the one that's in the middle, and then the outer layer, which is some things that are gonna protect you from the elements. With that base layer, you wanna avoid things like cotton. The best ones you can go looking for are things like wool blends. This here is a merino piece I like to wear on cold days. Poly, trying to seek out a full wool item is sometimes it gets a little bit itchy and a little bit stinky, so the blends sometimes work a little better for people. Moving on to the mid layer, it's definitely that middle layer that you want to be really smart with, so you can pick things that are like a little bit more like a fleece. That works quite well. This one here is actually heated, so you can cheat if you really need to. And then around here it does get quite cold, so this is definitely your friend here, the micro puff. So moving on to the outer layer, your outer layer protection from the elements. So here we have this jacket from Outdoor Master. Some of the things that make this jacket a little more protective. Got these wrist cuffs, powder skirt, so no wind or snow is gonna get up. Sealed zippers. Most of them will have a label or a tag somewhere on the jacket that talks a little bit about the waterproofing, but also the breathability. So you want a good balance of each. It's kind of a two-way system. You want, if something gets in, you want it to be able to get out. And if you're sweating, you want that sweat to be able to get out as well. You want it to breathe. Looking at some of the other accessories you might wanna check out, things like keeping your head warm. Helmets are usually quite warm to begin with, but sometimes something like this with a helmet on will keep you really protected. Might get a little wet, hard to talk to your friends because it's really hard to hear what I'm saying, but it's gonna keep you warm. You definitely wanna protect your hands when you're out there. Different styles of mittens or gloves. You got all your fingers, you got half your fingers, or you got a full mitt. The general rule is the colder it is, the more you want your fingers together. Most of these gloves have a synthetic leather material, this PU technology, very durable. As a new snowboarder, you're probably gonna be using your hands a lot to get your board on and off and prop yourself up. So having that durability is gonna allow your gloves to last a little longer. Another cool thing, this actually has a touchscreen technology in here as well. Look at that, pretty awesome. All right, so moving down, definitely wanna protect your legs and your butt. As a newer snowboarder, you might find yourself sitting down a little bit, so pants, definitely important. Again, trying to think a little bit more about that layering system. For me, with the pants, it's just usually about a base layer and an outer layer, not really a mid layer. The legs stay pretty warm as it is. So with the pants, definitely some options there. You have something like this, which is a bib. And the great thing about the bib is protects this midsection, seal the gap. Sometimes these things ride up and down a little bit. So an important thing to consider with the jacket and the pants is, you don't want to buy just the jacket fitting or the pants just fitting as is. You want to make sure there's some room to layer underneath a butt protector or some knee pads or something like that. You want to make sure you're mobile so nothing's restricting your movement. Moving right down to the bottom, socks, probably one of the more important things to consider here. I rarely cheap out when I'm buying socks. They're definitely important. Your feet are quite far away from your system that pumps the blood around, so your feet are usually the first thing that gets cold out there. So not only keeping you warm, the socks will actually protect your sensitive areas on your ankle and the top of your foot from that rubbing motion of the boot, especially if you're new to the sport. Binding this with your underlayer, maybe it's some sort of thermal pant, but also there's no lumps in there where the material is doubled up on itself and it's creating a bit of a lump. It's going to be quite painful, especially if you're out there all day. We've talked about all kinds of gear that's important to keep you warm out on the hill. I guess if you were a little bit crazy, you wear whatever you want. You're just not going to last very long out there. In all my years, I've seen some crazy stuff out there. I've seen people snowboarding in costumes, with work clothes, with jeans. I've even seen people naked out there. Leave us a comment if there's something crazy that you've seen that you want to share with us. I think the ski hill can be a wild and crazy place. Stay tuned, we're gonna be talking a lot more about some of the other pieces of gear that you're gonna wanna equip yourself with out on the hill. Things like helmets, goggles, snowboards, boots, bindings, all that good stuff that's gonna complete the package for snowboarding.